Hi guys, and welcome back to my page. Thank you for joining again. So today I am reviewing a series that I actually haven't read in a very long time. I probably should have done a reread before I decided to do this, but this is probably my favourite series of all time. And I always dreamed that if I ever did start my own YouTube channel that I would review this book, but it'll probably be a lot of me rambling and a lot of me saying how much I love it. So it's the One Night trilogy, which I have mentioned before in my first video, and I've probably brought it up since, but it's by my favourite author, Jodi Ellen Malpas. Now I'm also really depressed because I ordered these off of Booktopia, I'm pretty sure, and they gave me a different cover for the last one, and poor uni student vibes. Actually, at the time I bought them I probably could have reordered another one, but then I was like, what happens if I get a second one of these? And yeah, I don't know anybody who has the first two that are in this cover. So one thing I will say about her writing is that a lot of the males are alpha dominating type males, and I have recommended some of her series to friends before who have found it a little bit triggering, a little bit needs a trigger warning almost, because the men are such alphas and dominating. They're like very obsessive, very stalkerish at times. And look, I always think like it's a fiction book at the end of the day, and I mean, who wouldn't want a hot man just stalking you and wanting everything to do with you? So but like I said, not everybody likes it, and then I've recommended this series and other books from her to other friends, and they have loved it and literally message me all the time asking what new books are coming out. So the One Night series, the first book is One Night Promised. Now, I don't know if you guys want me to keep reading the blurbs out or not, so I'm probably just going to quickly browse through it to make sure. But the series follows Livy, who she starts off working in a coffee shop, and from what I can remember, wow, this is really bad, like I said, probably should have read it beforehand. From what I can remember, she's kind of just cruising through life. She lost her parents, so her grandma's raising her, or nan, I should say. She's just kind of cruising through life, not really making a plan. And then she meets this customer at the store who tells her that his name is, or signs off as M, and he is really mysterious, intriguing, and he keeps telling her that he just wants a one night with her. He can't commit to more than that, but he'd love to have one night with her. No feelings, no commitment, just one night. Sitting here editing this while watching Harry Potter, and I forgot to say something. He insults her coffee making skills and says she's shit. She might be, but what a great way to start. Now back to my rambling. So I think it's safe to say that with this story, anybody who read it pictured Miller as Henry Cavill, because I mean, he is a beautiful specimen. No, so Miller is described having dark hair, quite muscly and tall, and literally the epitome of Henry Cavill. So if you're wondering who to picture as him, that's my recommendation. And I'm pretty sure at first she's like, nope, you're weird, go away, and then eventually she ends up saying yes. I remember reading one review, and they basically said the relationship dynamic in the first book between Livy and Miller was like tug of war, and I couldn't agree more, because it goes kind of from let's try this, to let's not, let's go out but let's not, let's jump into bed but let's not. And it is that is like the perfect statement for the first book. But I also understand why it is a bit of a tug of war, because they're both fighting with what they want versus what they know is right. Miller, like I've said, Miller consistently was like, I just want one night with you. I cannot give you any more than that, due to his secrets and his mysteriousness. So then of course she's like, this is a bit weird, but do I want one night with him? Like, I am attracted to him, but should I? So no, so I thought that expression was a perfect way to sum up their relationship. And the first book, the first book was probably not, again, with series, the first book's never the best personally for me. Oh, I lie, some series are really good, the first books. This series, the first book wasn't the best for me, and I will say the end made me cry. So if you're very emotional, make sure you buy the second book up straight away, so that when you finish the first you can go on to the second. Now the one thing I do want to say about Jodi Ellen Malpas, she's an English-based British author, so everything is set in London, and growing up I had this obsession with London and with England, to the point that I wanted to shift my whole life and move there. Funny story, because a couple of years ago I did go on there on holiday with the intention of not coming back to Australia, and lo and behold, here I am. But she like everything's based in London, and she writes as though, like, for me who'd never been to England before, I felt like I was there. I could see everything that the characters walked past, and then I remember going to England and being like, oh my god, like this has happened here and that's happened here, and like for all of her books. So that was pretty exciting for me. She, for the most part, her characters have amazing character development. They've got really like nice but mysterious story to start off with, and you want to keep reading and finding out more about like these alpha males who have all these secrets and are really intriguing, and these women who seem so strong but yet can be so captivated by a man that they give in to all their inhibitions. And I find it really fascinating that she can write about all these different characters and they can be so far-fetched, but you still feel like you can relate to them and know them. Every single one of her female characters has had a different job, and she nails it every time. We've had a nurse, we've got a barista, we've got and although all her male characters are these alpha dominating males, very controlling, very trampling, very really just dominating, they dominate the whole story, they're still got their flaws, they've still got their past, and I think when you start to learn about them you understand why they are the way that they are. It's really big, because this is just turning into a whole Jodi Ellen Malpas like fan video, not just about this specific series. So this series follows Livy and Miller, and their journey is crazy, their journey is wild. You fall down a rabbit hole and you just keep tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. He is probably my favourite male of hers that she's ever written so far. I will say this is how much I love this series and this book. I have a friend in the book community that... Of course you do. You're delightful. Oh Siri, stop it you. My laptop is on half the time because usually I am doing some study before I film these and then some study after, so I quickly move back and forth. But yes, so anybody from the book community, Bookstagram, if you don't know Spark and Sparrow candles, then go check her out, because not only does she do candles, she does other bookish merch. That's where I get all my tumblers from. But bloody love. And she opens up customers every now and then, and I just knew I had to get this candle, so I got her to make it. This was going back like, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe 3, but I haven't burnt it. First off, my mum won't let me burn candles. She would probably murder me if I did, because apparently I might burn the house down. I don't believe that for a second. But no, so she doesn't really let me burn candles. Also, I'm too scared to burn it because like it is beautiful. It is a masterpiece. It smells exactly how I picture Miller to smell. So she actually made this for me. Let's see if I can. So it's a Miller Hart, the special one, because that's what he's titled throughout this series, and it smells of sandalwood, patchouli and musk. And look at that glitter. Still smells just as good as the day I first picked it up. I'm a sucker for a sob story. I really am. A lot of people who win me over give me a sob story. When I watch TV shows and reality TV shows, when people have a sob story, my heart just falls for them, and that's it. I'm in their corner. I'm behind them, backing them the whole way. So when we go along, and we don't really find out Miller's past until later on in the 2nd and 3rd book. And I remember the first time reading it, and even every time after that, because I've read it about 6 times now, I bawl my eyes every time. As soon as someone has a sob story, I really relate to it, and the way Jodi spins it, it's crazy, it's unreal, but it's believable. And this story breaks my heart every single time. I'm gonna start crying just thinking about it now. What I love about this book as well is that Livy's not perfect. She doesn't stumble in and say yes to this one night and then like ditch him. She starts to develop feelings for him, and when he's being not very nice, she recognizes that, and she actually pulls herself away, which, I mean, for me as a woman, that's a lot of self-restraint and self-respect. I don't believe it's their first interaction, but maybe like their 2nd or 3rd, and he's kind of like, I want one night with you, but it can't be more than that. And he makes a comment like, I need to force myself away from you or something like that, and she was like, but why? And he was like, because you seem like such a sweet girl who should get more from a man than the best of her life. I was like, coming in hot and confident. It's hot under the collar. No. Honestly, I love the banter that Jodi creates between characters. Like, it has you laughing, it has you feeling all the emotions the characters feel. I love banter. Like, my partner and I banter all the time. In fact, look, I just laugh at him all the time because he's so funny, and I try to like come up with good comebacks, but it never works. It never lives up to his. Don't tell him I said that though, because I will never live that down. The women do have a lot of self-respect. Sometimes it gets forgotten about. Like I will say, in this Man series, I feel like sometimes I just wanted Ava to stand up for herself more and stand her ground with Jessie, whereas in this book I feel like Livy really does. She can dig her heels in if she wants. Also, I love the fun facts in here. Like, they're fun facts for us as the reader, not fun facts like in the book. But like Livy loves wearing Converses. She has Converses in every colour, and although I don't because I can't afford that, I do have 2 pairs of both white Converses, one high top and one low top that I love. Miller loves pineapples, and Livy's Nan makes upside down pineapple cake, which I did not know what that was at first. I had to Google that. I also love Livy's nan in this story, she reminds you of like just an everyday grandma that you know, who like, she knows what you're doing but she lets you do it anyway because she cares about you and she wants the best for you until she has to step in. So this is how great Livy's nan is. I'm pretty sure they're having a conversation about how Livy can't spend the rest of her life looking after a nan, and how her nan wants her to go out and like live her life and do things. What does she say? She goes, "Livy, I will not be leaving God's green pastures until I have seen you pull things together, and that's not going to happen if you spend all your time hen picking me. I'm running out of time, so get your skinny little ass in gear." And then Livy goes, "I told you, I'm happy." And she goes, "Happy hiding from a world that has so much to offer. Start living, Olivia, trust me, time soon passes you by. Before you know it, you're being measured for false teeth and you won't dare cough or sneeze through fear of pissing yourself." Oh, she is great. Like, she is the funniest. I actually highlighted that and put 100 laughing faces. Even now, like, I'm gonna start crying from laughter. Also, Livy's best friend in this, her gay boy best friend, I just love to disclaim that because these books did come out about probably 10 years ago now. I gotta open it up. Am I right? 2014, not quite, but almost. 2014 as well. She pumped them out in the same year. I think, maybe, we'll see. But I love when people are a little bit more inclusive, because I'm not someone who judges. I'm not someone who stereotypes. I'm not someone who will not be friends with you for a certain thing other than your personality, and if we don't get along really well or we clash. So I'm all about inclusivity in every way, and that's something that I do love that Jodi does. Obviously, your leading characters are a skinny white girl and a nice white muscly man, but you know, can't have them all. That's what we've got Sarah J Maas and Jennifer L. Armentrout for, to give us those curvy girls. I find Jodi's writing to be so easy to read. It's not one of those books where I have to sit there and reread a passage because I've not comprehended it, so that's really great. But I also think she is so illiterate, and whoever her editor is, like, perfect. Every time she writes, she makes you feel like you're there. She highlights important stuff that you probably wouldn't know was important, and she just manages to put all these details in this book. She gives London, like, London is a character in most of her stories. England is a character in her stories, as well as the character development for the actual characters in the story. Especially this one, like, reading the first few chapters of Livy and Miller and then reading the last few chapters of Livy and Miller, you're just like, how did you guys get here? Like, that is incredible. So proud. I have never read a series and I've sat there so much going, I am proud of these characters. I am heartbroken for what they've been through, but I am incredibly proud of them and I'm so happy for them. And do you know what? Another thing I will say, she has a way of, like, writing these villains in that you want to beat them up. These villains are like they're not actually horrible. They're not, like, doing anything too batshit crazy, a little bit batshit crazy. But you sit there and you go, I just want to throttle you. Like, a character, you want to throttle a character. Who am I? Honestly, I wouldn't even hurt a fly normally, let alone, like, another person, and here I am, like, I want to beat a character up. Like, why? I remember in the second book, when I read it, like, a lot happened in the second book, but a lot of it was quite sad and them not being together. And I only highlighted one quote from the whole second book. The first book was, like, a couple of chapters in the third book, like the entire thing is highlighted. But in the second book, there's something that Miller says, and I'm going to repeat it because, like, if this doesn't win you over, if this doesn't make you fall madly, deeply in love with a fictional character, I don't know what actually half the stuff he says in the third book will. But in the second book he goes, if my 29-year tale of misery has led me to you, then that makes every unbearable part of it worthwhile. I'd do it all over in a heartbeat. Olivia Taylor, accept me as I am, sweet girl, because it's so much better than what I was. Honestly, be still my beating heart. Just like, that is poetic. That is like, I'm just gonna like time out and go cry. I have never wanted to jump into a story so bad. Also, Miller owns a nightclub called Ice, and I just think that's the coolest thing. Like, it's made for some amazing scenes in here. Do you know what? This isn't even a review. This is just a love story. So I'm probably going to retitle this a series that I love, that I recommend, not a book review. One night. If anyone does read this series after watching this, please message me throughout the whole experience, especially when you get to book 3, and if you hit specifically chapter 11, please feel free to message me. And then when you hit chapter 23 as well, please feel free to message me. And then when you finish the end, come and just message me. This book is not the sole reason why I'm studying psychology now. There are many other factors. I've been a beauty therapist for my entire life and have always been listening to people's problems, a shoulder to cry on. I wanted to do beauty therapy to make people feel better about themselves, so psychology is like a step up from that, and I want to make people feel not just pretty on the outside, but like good on the inside, happy, healthy, just give people a chance to live their best lives. But I'd be lying if I said that because this book literally spoke to my heart, my soul, every fibre of my being, that it probably contributed just a little bit to me studying psychology. So that's a fun fact for you. And look, like, people always make comments all the time about how after you read a book you kind of pick up the characters' personalities a little bit. And I also probably maybe didn't as much from this book, but if that's one takeaway that I did pick up from this book, that it gave me a little bit of a nudge to confirm that psychology was what I wanted to do. So that's a fun fact. Well, I hope you enjoyed my rambling. I'm probably going to cut it here because I really need to think about what I'm going to say next time before I just pop the camera on and be like, hey guys. But thank you for visiting my channel again. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed it because I love sitting here just talking to you guys. So please like and share. No, please like and subscribe. It means the world and it makes such a difference to my channel. If you have any questions, if you have any advice, like things you want to see, drop them down in the comments, and I will talk to you next time.